Good evening. I hope everybody is well, and I hope you're looking after yourselves in this fine weather and really enjoying yourselves. Tonight we've got a really quite an interesting and very, I think, fascinating hour with our guest. You'll know him, there's no doubt about it. And we'll be talking about some quite happy times and a little bit of a celebration. And perhaps we'll be talking a little bit about last weekend's Wellbeing Market at Newark Showground. But first, let us introduce our guest. And here we have Mr. Stewart Kerry. Hi, Stewart. How are you?
Hi, Ian. How are you?
I think both of us, we've had a long day, I think.
Yes, I think, yeah. Obviously, I work full time as well, so yes, it can be a long day some days.
Can Mr. Stanton's with us. Hello, Dee. How are you? Well, and Leanne. Hi, Leanne. I hope you're well. And
Evening, everybody.
Darren. Yeah, good. So I think
Hi,
we've
Darren.
got nine people on already, which is absolutely fantastic. And oh, look, Liz is there. Better make sure Liz is there. Okay. 8 years ago, last weekend, yes, 8 years ago last weekend, we opened the doors for the first time for a LizianEvents Wellbeing show, and that was at the great Festival Hall at Market Rasen. And it was a really very, very, if you like, tongue in the cheek. When we opened the doors to that, the whole idea was, I was looking, funnily enough, at the information that we put out, and the idea was to bring new people onto the floor of a event. And many people thought we were, and I will quote somebody said, "It's terrible that you're stabbing Angie Jury of BSSK in the back by doing this event." However, what they failed to realise, as Stuart will know, Angie actually stood at the event and we'd spoken about it with her on 2 or 3 occasions. So there wasn't any animosity whatsoever with regard to that. So we opened the doors, and I would say that it was hard work, very hard work indeed, because we had to do all of the chairs and the tables. We did all of the food. The food was okay. As many will know, I am a caterer, but I over-catered. There was that much food. I anticipated thousands were going to come through the door, and of course they didn't, but there we have it. Rick Paul's with us. Hiya, Rick.
Evening, Rick.
Yes, Liam, we are. I think we're pretty good. So what was your feeling about that first weekend, Stuart?
The first weekend, obviously, it was like, to be honest, I didn't even know where Market Rasen was. Like you say, the whole idea of it was to bring new people on board that didn't quite have enough confidence to go for the bigger shows. Obviously, there was Angie with the BSSK, which really was the main one.
Yeah.
It was, you know, the hall wasn't massive, but it was big enough. I remember rightly, we had a couple of couches, and we had, as you came in the entrance hall, we were just on the left-hand side. So for us, it was a bit of a, you know, a strain to new territory. We'd done some little shows, but nothing on the size of that. So it was a bit strange standing there on that side. I'm quite used to going to the shows. We used to do visit the shows most time, but to be standing on the other side was quite different, and it was enjoyable. It really was. It's a long weekend. I stood on my feet all weekend, but it was enjoyable.
It was. We actually looked this morning. We had 34 people stood there that weekend, which is absolutely fantastic. And it was interesting that quite a number of the people who stood actually have really gone into the ether now. They're no longer working in our work, and we don't see them at shows. But I think that's very, very par for the course. I remember the event myself, but it was really buzzing. I think nobody anticipated any had any expectations of how it would go. And as you say, Stuart, the venue was a little bit of an obscure beast. But the thing was, it might be interesting to know how we found that venue. Liz and I used to work with a man called Steve Muggerston, who was an absolutely, and still is, an absolutely excellent medium. And he and I used to travel around the country, and we used to have the medium and the reader. And Steve used to do his mediumistic demonstration. I used to sit at the back of the room doing the card readings. I don't know who actually got the short straw there, but that's another story. And one fine day, Ellie, his partner, phoned Liz up and said, "Oh, we're going to go to Market Rasen." And we went over to Market Rasen, and Steve put on this demonstration, and I did the readings, and it was absolutely packed. You couldn't believe how many people had come to see the psychic and the medium and the reader. And on the way back, Liz said to me, people keep asking us about doing a little show. I think this might be the place. And in fairness, we should say that there was the reasonable proximity to events that we had been to before, and there was an advantage that we had quite a following, so away we went with it. But it worked very, very well, and it worked for, I think, 3-4 shows. I'm sure Lizzie will let us know. Here's the boss. Hi, Jewel. How are you?
Evening, Joel.
Lovely to see you. We'll twist a card. I'll turn a card or two for Jewel later. I think I'd like to. There she is. Hi, Stuart. It's a good starting block for new people who could not afford the bigger shows. Foot in the doors. Absolutely right, Jewel. And I think Jewel saw it straight away, because I think many people wanted to stand. In fact, Rick Paul's on here at the moment, and it was a really good, if you like, stepping stone for him. And I think that's something that many people shone to, and they liked the idea, and that was it. So 8 years ago last weekend, we opened the doors, and we didn't really know where it would take us, because there may be a here you go, look, I like my new name, the boss. You've always been the boss in my mind, Jewel. Top of the tree. You're the girl, no doubt about it. And I think that when we look at what we did and looking at that event, Liz and I were never too sure where we wanted to take it. We thought we might do something in Nottingham, and of course there was the Trowel building, which was almost identical building, so it was easy to think about. But of course, we were then, I think people might be interested. Annie had done an event at Newark at the Cedric Ford, and in fairness, it wasn't so good. It wasn't so well attended, and Annie was. She will not mind me saying this. I know she's in spirit, but she will not mind me saying this. Annie was struggling a little bit. So Liz said to Annie, "Look, Annie, I don't want anything for what I'm going to ask or I'm going to suggest to you, but I'm really good at typing. I'm really good at logistics. I'm very, very good with paperwork and things of that nature. Let me come over and I'll put it all right for you, and we'll take it. We've got a good infrastructure. We'll put it back together." And a couple of weekends later, Annie phoned us up and said, "I want to see you." So we went over, and she said, "I won't tell you what the deal was. That's not important." But we ended up with what was remaining of Moonlit Pathways, which was formerly BSSK.
Yes, it was.
And so we took it on. There was a few venues that we didn't want to do. There was one we were in a grey area because we didn't see it as a lucky venue, and it was taken away anyway, so it's no problem. And we then said, well, we can't do Lincoln and we can't do Market Rasen. Market Rasen came to an end, and that was the story. That was how it all came to. Oh, Darren, look, can't believe it was 8 years. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, 8 years. And like you say, it was a very, people being put on that ladder. That's what it was all about. And even today, that's the same thing really that you're doing now. You're making the shows affordable for the stand the standers, the people who hold the stands, but you're making it affordable for us to get on and showcase the business that we've got.
Mm.
Whether it's retail, whether it's readers, whether it's manufacturing goods, and that's what it's about. It's about giving everybody a step up, surely.
Yeah, I think so. Our accountant is not very happy with us because he knows that we run with a non-profit centered business. That doesn't mean we don't look to make a profit, which indeed we do, but we prefer to reinvest as much as we possibly can back into the events to build them into something a little bit, I don't know, a little bit different, because my feeling is that the only way to build events these days, and after 8 years, I think I've got a little bit of a privilege to make a comment or two. I think it's the only way for us to promote now is using all the social media streams, because newspapers, they just don't work. Nobody reads them. Local magazines are so expensive. For example, we put an advertisement, ran for 3 times in a in a local magazine, £1,000. You've got to get 200 people through the door to cover it. It's just untenable. You can't do it. So
Mm.
we feel that the only way to go is down social media. And really, I defy, because I was asked this actually at the weekend. I'll come to that in a moment. I was asked about where we advertised last weekend, and I said nowhere. Only place we go is social media. If you read all the things that we put out, it's social media all the way for us. I can evidence how many people come onto the social medias. 20,000 came onto LizianEvents pages last month. 20,000. That's no mean feat. LizianEvents News, 9,000. We had 370 people on there yesterday. 370 people, which is quite substantial. So my answer is, I don't see any reason to move away from where we're going. And I think the evidence of the reach is there, Stuart, because the bookings for Stafford are simply amazing. And as I think you'll talk about in a minute, I'm going to ask coaches to do so. We had so many new faces at Lincoln. It was amazing. Did you notice that?
We did, yeah. As you work around, I mean, we used to visit the old shows, and you got to know everybody. But today, this weekend, there's quite a few new people that I didn't even know.
Mm.
Different sort of products, different sort of services, different readers, different crystal sellers. It's nice to see your favourites, like Carol, Crystal Carol, and the Kirsty with the ethically goods. But it's nice to see somebody completely new that you think, actually, I've never seen this before, and it just gives everybody that little bit more a little more reason to come. As you know, I mean, I work for a large motor car manufacturer, and they have departments after departments based on social media.
Yes.
So social media is the way to go. Newspapers are very good, but they report yesterday's news. This like today. This is a live stream. This is me at 7:10 in the evening, set at home with you. This you can't get much liver than this, can we?
No, it's amazing. Absolutely. And here's the voice of somebody who absolutely knows shows inside out, organised their own shows. And look what Jules got to say. Social media is the way. I've not picked a newspaper up in 10 years, and there are many people like myself. And such an accurate and poignant statement that Jules made there. And I think, to me, there's no two ways about it. Anybody who runs down the route thinking that they're going to promote, and I'm not just talking about an events business. Thank you very much indeed for that, Jules, by the way. There's, to me, if you are going to set up a business in any way, shape, or form, the most important thing that you can do is to consider your promotional options before you even start the business. I'm convinced of
Yeah,
that.
definitely. Yeah.
Because if you don't, you could be indeed with her. We're reaching new people, new community members, standing in new visitors too. Now, would you like to know something interesting? I bet Jewel will find this interesting, the other readers. I was talking to somebody over the weekend, and he was telling me about his daughter, and she has a YouTube site where, Joel, you'll find this interesting, very interesting indeed. She's got a group of 20,000 followers, 20,000, Joel, and she has made so much of it out of it. She's just bought her first house outright online, reading. Amazing, or what? Fantastic. So get your cards out,
That's,
Joel. I think
it's the YouTube, the TikTok, the Instagram, you know, the Facebooks and the Twitters of the world. That's, you know, I mean, we have these. I mean, we never used to have them before. Influencers, you know, you talk to this person, and then they promote a product, and then that product is seen being worn to somebody. Then sales rocket, you know, all the way. So it's a new world. It's probably been brought a little bit quicker because of the pandemic. You know, we might have been lagging behind, but because of the pandemic, we've moved forward. You know, in great steps. Not many people heard of Teams and Zoom meetings other than business people 18 months ago. And
yes,
all of a sudden, you know, we're right there.
yeah. I mean, look at me. Look at me. I'm currently investing thousands of. I mean, literally, we put. I don't care. I'll tell people we've just currently invested £6,000 in streaming equipment, and we're about to throw another 6 at it to go and have as people will see next week. You'll see we've actually got a page for our new business, which is LizianEvents Streaming Limited, and that business is going to be going out to corporate and doing streams. I actually have had people say from the streams we've been doing, you know, they're absolutely brilliant. Could you come and do a stream here? So, you know, it's the way to go. And those streams, the margins from that back into the LizianEvents business, and we can get even far and far more to it. Brick Paul, it's an integral part of my development, and I feel you have to embrace it or get left behind. I mean, Rick's just made a major investment in streaming equipment. So it's that. Can I ask you a question though? And everybody out there, all of you, every single one, get your thinking out, tap, 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 tap. Why don't you do it? See what your opinions is, because I think Stuart might be interested. What's your feeling about online training for spiritual healers? You know, Reiki, anywhere we're doing spiritual healing. I know there are people doing, but what's your feeling, Stuart?
My feeling, and this is the thing, isn't it? My heart says it's very much a hands-on. I like to see people. The world is going down the Zoom meetings and the team meetings. My heart still says I'm a hands-on person, and the healing is felt. I know because we've all done it. We've all done the liquid card reading over the internet and over the phones, and that's fine. Yeah, I've got no problem with that whatsoever. Done it myself. But for me, healing is a bit of a hands-on. I need to know how the people's feeling. So, for instance, we do crystal healing. If I put a crystal down with somebody and they either flinch or tense up, I know that crystal's not right. I can't see that over the Zoom, you know, and it's just those little things. So, you know, personally, I like to do it hands-on, and that's what, you know, that's the way I am. But if people want to do distance healing, you know, distance spiritual work, then it's got to be something they've got to be comfortable with.
Excellent. Jules made a very interesting point. Look here, better get my makeup bag back out and pop my earrings on, and then over to YouTube. I tell you what, Joel, you'd knock them dead, no doubt about it. You really would. I do a lot of online training now all over the world, and I'm not surprised. And I'm really not surprised. Jules got a phenomenal reputation for training.
Yes,
I think you're a Joel boy, aren't you?
I am, yeah. Me and Dave Morley, we came up, spent some time with Joel and training. Joel is always been for me is there. I used to love her at the shows. She used to do the palm reading. She is a star. She really is.
I know.
You know,
I've said it a million times, but over 20 years ago now, over 20 years ago, I was at the Lincoln Lawns and I was there. I got long hair and I was just a very basic table. I sat there and I was having quiet day reading, and the following day, and Jill just came over to me and she just winked at me and said, "Don't you worry, you'll be all right." And she was absolutely right. She knew. You see, that's only takes that. Okay, let's see what other people are saying about it. Good question. Susanna says, for beginners, perhaps in-person training. For the rest, it could go differently once they're able to work independently.
yeah,
Very,
quite right.
very good point. I like that.
Yeah.
And Leanne, very nice contribution. These days, a lot of it comes down to if people can afford to do it in person. These days, many can, and online cheaper. What a fantastic, valid point, Leanne. That's absolutely true.
Yeah,
Really
true.
true. Chris says...
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Stuart, you can.
No, say the classes that I run, the Nottingham Reiki one, is still it's £5 for 2 hours,
Yeah.
which is, it's never been designed to make a profit. It's done to teach teach people, and it's the passion. The job pays the bills. If as long as I can cover the room that I have, the 2 rooms I have to hire, cover a bit of tea and coffee and the expenses. That's it. My class has always been the same,
Yes.
and that's what it's all about.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
Leon says, if people can, when people are saying you need £500 to come and do a weekend course, that's an awful lot of money.
Yes. And you see, Christina's right. One of the challenges working online is a dodgy internet connection. We're fortunate because obviously having the facility of LizianEvents and investing quite an amount of money, we can go down the route of Netgear and other very, very powerful dedicated net servers. And when, for example, Netgear, the M5, the systems that we use, if you are on 5G using that system, just to tell you how quick the download is, and the facility for downloading, this is two-way, through that facility, I can download, if I wanted to, I don't, I could download a whole 2-hour movie in 27 seconds.
Wow.
So it's fast. So it is, but it's not insurmountable, Christina. And as Rick knows, there are many ways around it. Hey, I don't like this. Look at this. What we're going on? Joel is saying, oh, blushing now. Made Stuart's many cups of tea. Yeah, I bet. How good is our Jules tea, Stuart?
Jules tea is amazing. Just if you still live where you are, Joel, you live in a just on the outskirts of Lincoln. It's a beautiful little beautiful little house. Got a lovely garden. The robins come to visit and everything. So it was a really good time. I quite really enjoyed it.
Now then, Stuart, does our Jewel use tea bags or does she use tea leaves? And if she uses tea leaves, does she tell you fortune? Because I bet she's brilliant at that.
She eats tea leaves, I do believe. Yeah, the old way. The old way. It wasn't until like later in life when you look back, and my grandma used to read tea leaves, but I didn't know this until later in life. The ladies used to come, for a cup of tea, and that's how they got round it. They come for a cup of tea, have a quick swallow of the cup, and read it from there. So I think we'll find a lot of people my generation, their grandmas did that thing.
Well, I'll tell you something in a minute. So Sharon says, I've spoken to people who've done reflexology course over the internet. Purely they can't do that as they need to know exactly where the points are. Otherwise they can't do that. I'll tell you what, Sharon, I've got to have to concede to that. Unless they've got one of those plastic feet, perhaps with the markings on, and try that. But I must say that I would think reflexology would be a bit of a difficult one to do. What do you reckon, Stuart?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, like with Reiki, it's that feeling. It's it's that feeling, and everybody's different. Some people feel energy, some feel it's a tingle, you know, pins and needles. Everybody's different, you know. So it's got, the course has got to be tailored, whatever you do, to what you do. Simple as that.
Interesting. Sharon says, I think it depends on the actual course. I've done some spiritual course work, okay, although I'm a beginner, so that's good. Now, Leanne really is coming into some really great information. Local training here in Wolverhampton, you're looking at 200 minimum for level 1, and that's without the attunement. You see,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Stuart, £5 for an evening is absolutely for nothing. It's
But
brilliant.
that's, but again, that's the passion thing. You know, it's not for profit. It's for passion. It is, like we've always said, it's just that one person. You just want to help one person. If one person come to class and they feel, walk out that door and they feel better in themselves, surely that's a £5 well spent.
So Kelly's quoted 250 for level 1, and I'll say Stewart Kerry, Reiki Master, Nottingham Reiki, get on that website.
Well, on the website, it's just a guidance, but you know, I talk to people. It's obviously because of the restrictions, things obviously have been tough with classes. I had both tea bags and property also.
Excellent.
So it's been, you know, it is have been tough for people. I really enjoyed the weekend. You know, it was nice
Beautiful.
to get back. It was nice to have that couch up and set up. You know, we did it. You know, we did some Reiki as well, so it was really nice. It was
Brilliant.
nice for me to get to work as well. I quite enjoyed that.
Excellent. Yeah, I think it's nice. Sure do. Joel says, I still live in a beautiful cottage, and she has both tea bags and a property also. Very good. I hope it's not. I hope it. Well, it will be Yorkshire tea, won't it?
It should be
Absolutely.
Betty's
Betty.
morning
Oh
tea.
yes, Betty's morning tea. Well, that's an expensive place when you actually go into that place. Where is it? Harrogate.
There's a bigger one in York and a smaller one in York as well.
Well, actually, we might invade you for an hour or two soon, Joel, because we're going up to York. We might come round and say, I want the tea leaf reading. Leanne Thomas. Yes, Kelly, I'm going on when I inquired just over 2 years ago. Absolutely brilliant. It's something I really want to do. I actually think that becoming a Reiki practitioner at any level is a wonderful thing to do, and it's certainly a really good asset to your work. What do you think being a Reiki attunement of any level is a good aid to mediumistic work, Stuart?
Yes, it has. I mean, we've done with, you know, we've attuned people and they've opened the channels up. It doesn't mean it's definitely going to happen for you. It's how you look at things. You know, it certainly helped me. Kettle's always on. It certainly helped me. It helped me understand things, and I think it's just opening your eyes to other thoughts. You know, opening your eyes to, you know, just not necessarily just to spirit, but to energy. Giving yourself a, you know, a bit of a look. I mean, you know, 15 years ago, totally different person. You know, but being in the spiritual and holistic words, you know, changed me completely.
Interesting. Leon says the centre of excellence is 29 for the course, which is a start, and it's the only way I could do it. And you know that's sufficient, isn't it? I
Yeah,
think everything in life is about if you seek and look for long enough, you will absolutely find the right. What they say when the pupil is ready, the master will come, don't they? And I
that's
think
fine.
that's
Yeah, they
absolutely.
all say.
I think that's absolutely true. And I think that when we when we consider many aspects of our lives, we don't accept what is there and what is available. I mean, uh, uh, people who know me well know I don't seek perfection. I don't seek anything. I just say, well, I'll let it run. I'll go for it. I'll learn on the hoof. I'm not overly worried about honing the sword or having polished edges. To me, I think that getting things running actually can help you learn as you go along. I mean, goodness knows, I'll come back to the. Sorry to bore you all with this stream business, but I'm very enthusiastic at the moment. Well, I can't see me not be enthusiastic about it, but it's interesting. You know, the first couple of streams I did, I made some quite catastrophic errors. Do you know, not one person picked up on them. Not one. They all said to me, we've had today, all day long at the market, we've had people say, oh, I love the streams. I've been watching everything that happened at Lincoln. And I've gone back and watched some of them, and they're mentioning names. That's the point. They're mentioning names, and I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
absolutely wonderful. And
yeah.
later in the year, we will be running a Blackmagic camera with a radio transmitter on it around the room, so that on actually as the show's running, people will be able to talk about what the show is like. So that'll go out to lots of more people. Good. So we're great. Stuart, what is the situation with Nottingham Reiki at the moment? Is the Sherwood Centre open, or are you able to do training, or can courses start again?
Right, okay. Obviously, with restrictions, because Reiki is a hands-on healing and very, very much close contact, the centre closed completely last March, not long after the Nottingham show. They are attempting, obviously, restrictions are going to be lifted on Monday. So the Prime Minister said they're going to be lifted all restrictions. We should hopefully be back up and running sort of August time. I'm waiting for the okay from the Sherwood Centre. I started to catch up with some levels. I've got a couple of level ones to do and a couple of level twos to do. Get me back in the swing a bit as well. And that's where we are. It's obviously been very difficult. Obviously we've done a couple of private treatments. The weekend brought it back how much actually we miss it. Myself. When we're at the show centre, we have 2 rooms. We have 5 beds up. I've got a room purely for new people, and then a room, for my more experienced people. It's really, it really makes you miss the whole thing altogether. So you disappeared from my screen. There you go.
No, it's true.
But as for training,
I think the football and the tennis didn't do us any good at the weekend. I'm not making excuses, but we were definitely down. I mean, when I was in the stream room, because I've got 2 MacBooks in there, and I was one at a hiatus when there was a moment or two. I just had a quick look at the news, and people were having barbecues and celebrations from lunchtime onwards on Sunday. And when we went to the gamekeeper for our after-event meal, Carol said, "Oh, you'll need to book." So we booked, and when we got there, there were 6 people and about another 2 dotted around, and that was it in the whole of the gamekeeper. Normally, you can't get in there. When we drove home, no exaggeration, I don't think we saw 30 cars. Amazing.
no. Obviously, we left about 5:30, 5:45. The roads were very quiet then. But yeah, I mean, Saturday they replayed the 1966 match. Italian job was on Sunday. Then obviously the football. It was a nice day. I think it was a case that we all did the best job that we could. With what we got.
Well, I mean, we're just short of 500. We were just short of 500 people. I would like to. I wrote in my book I thought we'd get about 650, 700. But 550 wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. Most people enjoyed their show, and most, as you know, I always walk the floor anyway, and I always speak to people and ask how they've done. I didn't get one gripe really. I think everybody knew the situation, but I think, in fairness, let's blow our trumpet. We're tens of pounds cheaper than anybody else in our ilk. So it isn't as if like you're paying 190, 160, 170, 180, 190 pounds. I'm not just saying this for a therapist table and an area. You know, you've got a long way to go to meet your overheads when you're at that extreme, and you know we're just nowhere near that, as you know. So it does give people a little bit of an advantage, and I think people really do understand that. Indeed, that you know it is affordable. You see, our feeling is we're better off to have, you know, the coming months. I mean, look, Lincoln, I would say without any doubt, we are going to have 100 people standing at Lincoln. There's no argument that's what we will have. Stafford is almost full. Newark, we've already got about 50 people who are standing. You know, to attain these figures so far in advance, it has got to be a testament to what's happening with this community-driven business. But not only that, I do believe that people are really looking at the financial aspect of the event. And I think if we can help them in any shape or form, that's the way it is. Sharon, very happy, never been happy though. If Dave gets time for lunch, but he says he gets to enjoy the show too, and so he's happier. So, you know, we've got the testaments there, and I think it really works. But we've got a long way to go, and we keep adding to it. You'll see on posts that are running out this next week, and I would ask anybody who looks upon this on catch up, because this stream does get a lot of people on catch up. Please look at all of the posts on LizianEvents News, the ones that are post this show from the 13th of July on which was Monday. Watch them carefully, because there's a lot of information there, particularly about community members' information and profiles, because those pages, the templates for those, are now incredible. Because what I will be doing is I will be doing online conversations about people's work, and that will go up on the pages. The pages themselves are becoming very, very interactive. And while we're talking about that site, there's a little message you'll see on the bottom of it, everybody. I just want to clarify what it is. We've just tagged the site into a situation where all of everything on that site has become copyrighted. If you copy and paste, which I encourage people to do, you will find anything that you copy and paste will come up with a signature with source LizianEvents on it. And we've had to do it because a lot of people are pinching our stuff, and particularly Rick Paws, for example. He's had some of his work plagiarized, which I know through using different software, particularly using Grammarly. They've got a plagiarism program on it. So we've had to do this. So anybody who pinches our stuff are going to end up advertising for us. Thank you very much. What does Jules say? When I did London shows many years ago, I was paying £500 for my stand, plus the price of chairs, electric, and much more on top. So it's nice to see affordable prices at shows again. I think it's the only way to go, Joel. But, you know, I think in fairness, that there are many people who are not quite of your standard, and I think £500 in those days might have been too much for those. And you know yourself, you're fantastic, brilliant medium. So you know it's there, but even that, I would think, even at £500 plus the rest of it, I'd think you'd be talking about a whole weekend at about £750. So you know you've got to be a brave soul to be doing that, Stuart.
Yeah, I think it was a bit like gambling. So you've got like a chunk of money. You think, can I afford to lose this? We sorted out when we first did that Market Rasen show. We put some money in the kitty, and when it was gone, it was gone. So
Yes.
we did a show. We made some money. We put it back in the kitty again. You know, we did another show, took the money out, put it, anything we made, put it back in the kitty again. You know, and that's how we did it originally. You know, like I say, you know, we were not there for the profit. We're there to help people as well. I mean, it's nice. You know, it's nice to make a little bit of profit. Spend most of my profit with Carol and some of the other stand holders. You know, but, you know
they ought to. I think they ought to call Crystal Carol Dick Turpin. No, she's fantastic. She's lovely.
Yeah.
A few minutes. Should Shall we play? We'll play a few cards. Anybody want a card or two? Just give us a shout, and we'll try and have some fun, because I know how many people love it, and I get lots of people commenting on it. So if you want a card or two, just say. Oh, definitely for Jewel. Definitely. Whoa, goodness me, though, we could be in trouble. It's fantastic to see community members sharing other community members' posts and change. It really does help everyone.
It does.
It does. You categorically can't beat that cross-pollination. That sharing is absolutely magic. I mean, Darren is something. Hey, just a minute. So watch this. Yeah, Susie, we're going to give you a card. So Darren fancies a card. This is unheard of, so that would be brilliant. But the cross-pollination, sharing of things is a very, very important way of getting self-promotion. And incidentally, I'll come back to the new community member information profiles that people, I think it's tomorrow, the first post comes out about it. They will all have on the bottom of them a copy and paste link, and they can put it anywhere, absolutely anywhere, and it'll come straight up in perfect register. So it'll be great for them. Okay, let me get a list. Let me get a little bit of a list out. So
from the LizianEvents News.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, LizianEvents News. I mean, all of the show guides will now be copy and pastable as well, so it'll be really good. Okay, let's go for it. So we're going to start off with the boss, and this could be this could be trouble before we even start. And then we've got Leanne, Kelly. There we go. Yeah. Oh, look. So we've got Chris. I'll just make these notes because you know how difficult it gets, don't you? Darren's going for it. And Sharon. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Jewel. I remember Darren when he was a youngster with a Ghostbuster gun.
I first met Darren at Mansfield, I do believe. He had a little bell that used to chime on his table.
Frightening stuff. He has got a very, very. We might get him on actually in the coming weeks, because there's a lot of stories about that. Are we ready? Are we ready? Oh. Jewel. Judgment, Jewel. There you go. You go first. You go first. You go first. Stewart.
Well, I can't see the card, but I know from it's literally, actually the face actually looks quite like Jewel anyway. She's got the most gorgeous smile and gorgeous face, but she also holds this shield, so she for me always holds her people, her students, very close, very, very much dear. I'm trying to think about the card. I couldn't quite see it again.
So we've got an angel, and she's blowing a trumpet with a George Cross, and there are some coffins. It could be, or people coming from the underworld, and we've got 3 of them, and they're celebrating the angel.
Yeah. So for me, it's the 3 people, although they're not clothed, so they're coming to I see that they're coming to this world sort of with no expectations, with nothing, and the angel of the judgment is with the cross. Is they're going to lead them to the triumph, and whatever triumph it is for them personally. It's not necessarily about money things or earthly things. It could be through with knowledge, with spiritual guidance, that sort of thing. But for Jewel, she's that person that leads people on. She's always, for me, she's a proper teacher. She guides people. I remember working with her, and so you didn't have a book, you made notes, and she told you so much about the card that she could look into. That's where I got my thing from. Never mind, look at the cards, look at the picture, look what's in the background of it, and trust your heart, trust that gut feeling as well.
Good. Joel, I think my inner being says that you're right. People do make their beds and they have to lie in them. And I think that you are looking around you at the moment and you are considering many options. I also believe that you know without any doubt that your path, your connections, your teaching, and all the work you do, and particular reading, I think it's being more resurrected, and I think it's coming more and more into your mind, and you're seeing more and more opportunities. There are more and more people who categorically, Joel, need your old wisdom, because a lot of it's lost, a lot of it's been diluted, a lot of it has been, if you like, dissolved to made into something that it's not. And I think you're seeing all of this at this moment in time. And I believe absolutely, and if you follow this path, you'll have nothing but happiness and benefit from it. I think you know that you're going to be tasked to spread your word and your knowledge further afield. I'm convinced of that. Secondly,
Definitely.
I also believe that you are on a personal crossroads. You're seeing people around you very, very close to you. You're seeing their success, and that's making you very happy. Now, there is a situation that many people do know about, and it has caused you an immense amount of pain and upset, total, absolute injustice that's around you. And I think you're going to get judgment on that situation, Joel. And I know that many people have prayed for you about this particular awkward individual, and I firmly believe that that will be closed. That is my answer to those cards. So there we have. Right, shuffling the next one. Who have we got? Leanne. Are you ready, Stewart? Let's go for it. Right, here we go. Oh, it's the moon. Oh,
The
look at that.
moon.
The moon. Isn't it
Okay,
wonderful?
so the moon is for me. It's that soft, feminine, womanly energy,
Mm,
unconscious intuition. We've spent many years worshipping the moon, and everything goes with it. So with Leanne, I think it's she's trying to cut through. She's trying to grow her intuition and see what's somebody's clouding the subject, like a cloud over the moon. So you can see it behind, but there's a cloud over the moon, and I think she's able to see. She's able to see. Where's it now? She's able to see the disease. I think that's what it is. There's a cloud going over the moon and it's hiding. It's like a deceit, but the moon shines behind. She can quite clearly see that.
I like
Makes
it.
sense to her.
I do. I believe,
It's
Leanne.
to me,
Sorry.
the way I've worked. It's always been from here, and it's sometimes it's not easy for me to
No, that's
put out in
yeah,
words
but
what I mean.
I knew where I'm sure Leanne knows the sentiment comes to as well. But look, just quick look there. Take care of my students, love them all. Thank you, Stuart. Bless you, so kind. And Ian, you're correct. I have so many lovely options, and I'm a lucky lady, and they always are returning. Well, I just wish people happiness, and thank you so much. I'll treasure that reply. I'm going to copy
Yeah,
and paste that, Jewel, and put it in my journal, which you know all about. You know all about my
yeah,
journals.
yeah.
Now,
Thank you.
to me, Leanne, the moon is a very powerful, powerful part of one's life. And we look at the moon with very great care because it is hidden. It is two things. It is light in darkness. That means that if you search and are prepared to look and shine light in the darknesses that surround you, you will find answers. And also, the other thing about the moon is its gravitational pull. It has the most incredible effect. It makes tides, It makes the seasons, it has the most incredible effect, and it draws people into different ways of thinking. You look at the moon and you think, people moon gaze, don't they? They look at it and they think about it.
Yeah,
It's an
definitely. Yeah.
incredible thing. So what I would say to you, Leanne, is this: be aware of the influences of other people, because it is a hidden power and it is something that you need to be addressed and you need to work around. Take a crystal, meditate, think very carefully and say, I will no longer allow anything or anybody to affect me in a negative way. I will allow the light of the moon to light my darkness and bring immense happiness to me. Follow your femininity, follow your understanding of everything around you, and do not allow yourself to be confused by issues which are out of one's control. So, who've we got next? We've got Kelly. Right, Kelly. Let's see where we go. I would get one of those shuffling machines. What do you reckon, Stuart?
Culture. If I remember rightly, you're very good at shuffling cards.
Oh, I am very, very good at shuffling cards, especially when it comes to mentalism. Right, here you go. The Lord of Pleasure, the Seven of Cups, Kelly.
So
Oh,
seven
I
is
like it.
seven's always been a lucky number, and cups it's more of a not a challenge. It's bountiful. So I think at the moment life's pretty good. We're heading. We're not totally abundant. We're not totally fulfilled. But we're happy with what we've got. The seven is like I say, seven's always been a lucky number. It's we could always have more, but I think at the moment life is pretty settled. But I think you do want to go on, and you do want to get better and better at it. I don't know, obviously, who you are, Kelly, but it's a chance now to take stock of what you've got. The cup for me is it's holding what we've got. So hold on to what you've got. Don't let it go. But you've got the chance now to go further on and make more and more cups and make more and more either memories or more abundance in many aspects of life. Not just money. Everybody just automatically thinks it's all about money. No, it's not. It's about knowledge, it's about ideas, it's about memories. Memories to me are the most important things you can ever make. So I think it's a reasonably good card for you.
Brilliant. Leanne says, I
I
always feel.
don't do this very often.
No, you're doing really well. This is what the pressures. This is how we do it, and it's brilliant. Leanne Thomas, always feel a strong connection to the moon, and I fully understand that fully everyone is trying to influence me, so I'm getting confused. Thank you, Stuart and Ian. There you go. You see, so you're absolutely brilliant. Right. Okay. Kelly, this Seven of Cups is an individual sitting under a tree, and in front of that individual are 4 cups. But look, there is a hand cup offering something to that individual. Now, those astute, of course, Jewel knows straight away, and I'm sure Stuart does. The hand holding the cup is exactly the same hand holding the cup, which is on the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. Cups, all about emotions. They can be full of tears, and they can be full of tears of happiness. They can be full of tears of sorrow. They can be full of anything that is to do with emotions and waters. And you are being offered something here on an emotional level, Kelly, and you're looking down at emotional ideas and concepts which may be active or may be in one's memory. So allow yourself to go with your intuition, make the choices, make the emotional choices, let your heart rule your head, that brings you complete happiness. And when that emotional cup of kindness and love is offered to you, go on, take it. You know,
Yeah,
sometimes it's
yeah.
just nice to say, okay, thank you. Don't let pride stop you from your happiness, my lovely friend. Absolutely don't. Don't do it. Right. Who have we got next? Oh, we got Christina. So let's shuffle these cards. You do look. How about this? You're brilliant, Stuart. Very intuitive interpretation readings. I think that is a very, very, very nice thing to say.
Thank you very
Jules,
much. Very,
Jules
very
says,
kind.
Jules says, I'm going in Ian's black book. Such a lucky woman. I tell you what, Joel, you've always been in my heart. You know, all those years ago when I was in a dark place, you helped me immensely, and I'll never forget it. Thank you. Right, here we go. Here we go. Ooh, right, Christina. Here's the card. It is. Oh, it's beautiful. High Priestess. Oh, look
High
at her
priest.
sitting on her throne, a foot on the moon between two pillars, one black and one white. What do you think? What do you think?
So we are between, not between worlds, but between two ideas. So for me, we've got the two pillars. So that's from going from one ideas to another range of ideas. With
Lovely.
the foot on the moon, yeah, with the foot on the moon, that's that moon energy, that's that soft feminine energy again. But I feel that it's with Christina, she's either moving from one world to another world. It could be a transition that she's taking from either work wise or relationship wise. I've got more feeling of for work wise. She's transitioning from one to another one, so she's between those worlds where she's not quite made her mind up what she wants to do. But I think having the foot on the moon and having that sort of under control, she already knows the decisions she needs to make.
Yeah, you see, that's very, very, very nice interpretation of the High Priestess. I'm very partial to the High Priestess. What does she hold in her hand? She holds a document, the Torah, and as you say, she has got one foot on the moon. She stands between two pillars. Some people say it's black and white, but who knows? Well, if you
Dark and
know,
light.
but Bohem and Yohim, it's all about, isn't it? But for me, Christina, it says you hold wisdom in your hand. You're all about wise. And you should be using the wisdom. You should be using the wisdom that you have, and you should follow your intuition and follow and use your wisdom. You can sit there and you can think and go around in circles. And you see, I think Stuart's so right, because you want to do one thing and your heart's somewhere else, and these have to cross over. So why not find a wise way of combining the two things that you want to do? And that's my answer for that. Absolutely. So two ways, choice to be made, as Stuart says, immense amount of wisdom, a little bit uncertain which way you're going to go. Why not find a way, or attempt to find a way, to use them both together? That's my
Both
feeling.
worlds together. Yeah.
Hope that means something to you. Now we've got trouble. Mr. Stanton is going to
Mr. Stanton.
yeah, Mr. S is going to get a card. Ooh. D, it's the devil. Okay, Stuart, go for it.
Okay, the devil. Okay, so I think with Darren, because I've known Darren for a long while, and believe me, I understand his dream. His dream, he wants to be the best he can be for him, but
Yeah.
also he wants other people to be the best they can be. And I think sometimes we're seen as that devil because we try to prize the person. The person's in the shell. I think it was Leonardo da Vinci said that the statue of David was hidden inside a piece of rock, and all he was doing is away. And I think that's what Darren does. Darren sees something in the person, and he chips away slowly at that person until that other person comes out and comes forward. But it's not a nasty card for him or anything like that. It's just been that devil's advocate and actually, doing the things he wants to do. And sometimes you have to be a bit solid-minded, or this roadmap, I'm going to go for it. I know he does an awful lot of work abroad, but it's a bit like Route 66. He's got to stick to that route and move forward all the time. Even one step is a step forward. Sometimes we do get knockbacks, but always looking forward and making that step forward. Can't you see the card again?
Mm.
You see the two people, they don't look like they're enslaved. They look like actually they want to be there as well. So the people that come to Darren are going to be wanting to, they're going to want to change. It's just a case of, Darren's going to be that devil advocate that actually makes them change. He's going to have to ask the odd questions. He don't always want the answer. It's down to them to have the answer. But he's a step forward. He's going to be that devil, and I'm proud to know him.
Good. That's a very nice thing to say. I sometimes see the devil as a card that indicates external influence. The devil doesn't make anybody do anything wrong, but takes the greatest of pleasure in watching them make mistakes. But in this instance, I'm going to say to you, Dee, because I think it's fair that I read this literally just as I see it. I think you need to watch very carefully indeed for people who may wish to take advantage of you. And I believe that's to do with material aspects of your work. I really do say that from that card. So keep your eye on what you sign and keep your eye on what people want from you. I absolutely do mean that. So we're going to do two more cards, one for Sharon and one for Suzanne, and then we're away. Very quick ones. Okay. Oh, look. Yes, I agree. Well done. Okay, very quick ones. So Sharon, here we go. Wheel of Fortune. Fantastic. Zoo, spinning Wheel of Fortune.
Is this our Sharon?
It is.
Right, okay. So a very good card for Sharon, because she is that Wheel of Fortune. She's that whirlwind that patrols the shows with her iPad. And she is an influencer. We used that word earlier, but she is that, she is that influence, that whirlwind that patrols the shows and likes and shares everybody's information. I'm proud that she came to me as a student, and she went into lockdown literally as the end of her attunement. She is a wheel and a force to be reckoned with. Keep it up, Sharon.
It is.
There is a little bit. If you look at that card, there is somebody applying the brakes. Sometimes you've got to apply the brakes. You've got to slow it down a little bit, but keep it up. To you, that world. That's your world. That's going to come. It's going to open up in such an incredible way from you. You'll be very, very surprised.
To me, Wheel of Fortune is a beautiful card. You make your own fortune in life, and my goodness, you're absolutely driven to do that, my friend. But things can turn around, don't forget. So what I'm saying to you is this. You carry on your path, but be careful, be careful, be careful. You don't feel that you're pushing too much and not getting sufficient reward back for your efforts. I know that you will immediately say to me, oh, Ian, that's not true. I know where your heart is. I know exactly where it is. But just be careful that you see the long-term picture, because the seeds that you are setting now, I really mean this, in many aspects of your life are going to come to your benefit, and I think you're going to reap the rewards of everything you're doing. In fact, I'll remove the word think. I know that you will reap the rewards. So the Wheel of Fortune's working well for you. You can take advantage of it, keep it spinning, keep it working. And that is as far as I can see with that card. So let's just do one more shuffle for Susanna, and then we'll say goodbye to all of these lovely people who have been with us, and we'll see where we go. So good shuffle. Let's get a card. There it is. Oh, look, there you go. Lord of Abundance, 3 of Cups. Absolutely lovely.
So this is for Susanna.
It is.
It is. So, like I say, your cups. It is an abundance. I think with Susanna, this is again the three's lucky number. It's always been the three, the trilogy. But I think she's looking at different options, and I think she always gives herself more than 3 options to do something. Just keep it up, Susanna. We was across from you, but every time I looked at you, the show the weekend, you was busy and then I was busy, so we didn't actually get to say hello. But I kept meaning to go over, but I just never had the time. So for you, I think abundance, and that abundance is going to come in many different ways. It's going to be your teaching, your spiritual work. I know you do an awful lot on the internet as well. But those 3 things, I would say, they'll all come together and they'll all bring one tremendous amount of an abundance for you.
Good. I will actually, Stuart, just for speed, I'll read for Susie just before we finish, but I'll just do, because I said I would, and I don't want to go back on that. So just stay with us, Susie. 3 of Cups, Lord of Abundance, a reason to have celebration, a reason to be proud of one's actions and one's ability on emotional level. Whatever you're doing at the moment in time, Susanna, whatever you're doing at this moment in time is bound to bring you an abundance of emotional happiness beyond your expectations. I would guide you clearly to use your thoughts, your ideas, particularly your spiritual connections. People love you when they speak to you. You've got this incredible healing nature that surrounds you. You've got all of these things. I categorically say to you that my feeling is that you will experience an emotional abundance which will give you more pleasure than anything else. Carry on your path and stay as you're going. One very quick card, which I will read for Susie. And here you go, Susie. It's the Magician. Magician, it is all about concentration without effort. It is the ability to just do things, like if you play the guitar without looking at the keyboard or looking at the frets or anything of that nature. It's, you have a skill which you are absolutely spot on at following and doing, and whatever that can be, then just follow your heart. You are the magician, in control of your life. You're in control, if you choose to be in control of your material world, your intellectual world, your emotional world, and your spiritual world, and you make sure you keep those 4 aspects spinning, you become a really fantastic person. And something happens, you understand what the quintessential, the 5th element is, and it's a movement of material, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual ideas. Blend them together in everything you do and really work at where you're going. You will be like the magician, in control of your own life, and you will be able to do the things that you want to do and follow it through. Did you want to read on that, or should we call it a day, Stuart?
No, that's right for me as well.
Excellent, brilliant. So we need to say thank you to tons of people: Jewel, Leanne, Kelly, Christina, Darren. We've got Sharon, Susie. Oh God, there's so many people on here. We can't say thank you. It's Susanna, of course. Let's see what Susanna says. Thank you very much. LizianEvents, great things. The Magician. Liz likes the Magician. Leanne, thank you, and Stuart, for your time tonight. Thank you for your wonderful things. I can honestly say to you, thank you all for being here. I can't thank you so much. And thank you, Stuart, for jumping in, being the mystery man. Oh, look, Rick says, here he is. Rick, God bless you, Rick. You've had a long day. It's been a really show. Thanks, guys. Love to see you, Stu. See you at the next show, everybody. Right, we're going to sign off. If I can find the right band, and no, I want the right brand. I'm not going to run out of Lizzie's, and that's Ian's outro. And we are going to say, Stuart, stay on afterwards so we have a bit of a chat. We're going to go just like that.